Hey there, I'm Sky Mercer. I'm an HR consultant and leadership coach, and I specialize in supporting organizations all over the US with implementing proven HR strategies and leadership strategies. I'm talking today about a topic that is pretty near and dear to my heart, something I'm passionate about, and it's 3 strategies to make sure that you are conducting respectful layoffs. A lot of the business owners, nonprofit leaders that I'm speaking with right now are still in the process of furloughing and laying off employees and downsizing. And then we're in such an interesting time because, on the other hand, a lot of the organizations I'm talking to are starting to bring people back. So next week, I'll be talking about strategies for rehiring and onboarding your workforce. But today, in terms of planning for and effectively conducting your respectful layoffs, these are really 3 key strategies that I see as pertinent to making sure that you're being respectful in your layoff processes. So the first is making sure to have a communication strategy where you're being authentic and sharing information, but not perpetuating fear. So for example, there's a big difference between sending an email that says, we don't know if we're going to make payroll next week versus sending an email that says we're doing everything we can to look at financial sustainability right now. We're open to ideas and feedback, and we've set up this session to talk about what's going on. There's a big difference in those 2 messages, right? One of them they're both messages of uncertainty. One of them perpetuates fear. One of them talks about the uncertainty and also gives an outlet for how employees can communicate with managers and really sets up a feedback loop, which is one of my biggest tips for when you're managing your communication strategy, is to consider having town hall meetings with your employees. And a town hall meeting is where a designated leader or the leadership team sets up virtual times via maybe Zoom video conference right now, preferably in person when we can, and talks to the employees about what's going on and shares information about what your business is doing to prevent layoffs, shares information about the layoffs, really sets up a feedback loop and a Q&A session with your employees. One employer that I talked to recently is doing this on a weekly basis with their CEO. Their CEO is setting up online virtual chats with the entire organization where they can type in their questions and the CEO is answering those questions. So being strategic in your communications in this way is so, so important. The second thing to do is to make sure that you are not going it alone as an executive leader. And what I mean by that is rally your resources, make these decisions about downsizing from a place of strategy, not from a place of fear. And one great way to do that is to set up a committee of key people. So you'll want to have somebody who is a programs leader if you're a nonprofit, or an operations leader if you're a for-profit. You'll need some HR expertise. That's why I work with employers in this arena. And then you'll need financial expertise, somebody who is, the finance director, or if you don't have a finance director, a member of your board who specializes in finance, something like that. So 3 key partners that can work with you as the executive leader in making the decision about the layoffs and executing a strategy around the layoffs. When we go it alone, we tend to do make decisions that aren't the best decisions. We need to have resources around us, especially in a time of crisis. Very, very important strategy. And then the third thing that I feel is so, so important is to provide information to the employee that they need. And so what that means is giving them, the employees that you're laying off or furloughing, a written toolkit, a written packet of information. And in that packet, it has the layoff and furlough letter template, which gives the effective dates of the layoff or furlough, the dates that you'll be looking at bringing them back. It gives the reason for the furlough or layoff, and that's to help them with unemployment as well. They can provide this letter to the unemployment insurance provider that shows that they were laid off due to economic downturn, due to COVID-19, and gives them the information they need. I have a template letter on my website that if you go to skyhrconsulting.com and go to the free resources page, I have a download there that is a template for layoff. It's a furlough letter template. So feel free to download that. And then the other thing to include in the written packet is an FAQ handout for the employee. And this handout needs to have every component of information that they need to understand what's happening and understand the resources around them. So I work with clients to set up a tailored FAQ that includes final paycheck information, whether or not they'll receive their sick and vacation time payout, unemployment information, where they go to file for unemployment, and information about your state's unemployment. All of the information about benefits, if they have benefits with your organization. And then I also include, if you're doing a permanent reduction in force, I include job placement resources from the Department of Labor. And then if you have an employee assistance program, super important to include your employee assistance program information in the handout as well, because going through a layoff is really, really stressful for an individual. And so having those written materials and those resources is going to be really important, because when you're talking with somebody about them losing their job, even if it's temporary, it can be very stressful. And so they need something to refer back to at a later time. And then the other thing too is just making sure that they have a contact, whether it's you, whether it's your HR person, that they can contact for further questions. Because even though you're going to be answering most of their questions in the written materials, it's a good idea that they have somebody that they can talk to if they have questions. So those are my 3 key strategies for conducting a respectful layoff. And if you need additional information or assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My website is skyhrconsulting.com. That's SKYEHR consulting.com. Thank you so much for listening today, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.